Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Futures Brizio here. It is 12:45 p.m. on Tuesday, October 21st. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I took the day off yesterday, uh, hanging out with some friends. So uh, no video yesterday, no trading either. I was out of touch. So, anyways, back today, and just thought I'd make a quick video just to provide some updates here. Um, Again, not to beat a dead horse, but we still do not have any commitment of traders data. The U.S. government is still in shutdown, so we're just basically going to put aside any of the COTs. Well, mainly COT seasonality. I guess we can still take into account, as I mentioned, on these some of these commodities like the grains and stuff, but. I like to use that in conjunction with COT data, and we don't have any of that. Again, we're now about 3 weeks out here without an update to the COT data. And no matter what format you want to look at it, it doesn't matter because it hasn't been published. So we really can't go by any of that. We really just have just price action, technicals, and again, perhaps seasonal data if you're so inclined. So let's just jump right in here. And again, as always, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. So this is corn hourly chart. And again, just remember again that from a seasonality standpoint, corn should be up right now. And you can see we did have this nice run up. If we go out to a higher time frame, though, this is the 4-hour chart. You can see we're kind of operating inside of a bit of a range now. It looked like we were going to get a break out. And, we came back up to these previous highs, and now it's trying to, settle in again here. So we did have this nice run up. Basically, I guess this was probably the last couple weeks. Yeah, this was a run from, basically from about a week ago. We did have this nice run up and pull back here. Right now, we have broken below this little swing low right here on corn. I don't know if that's really a downtrend or whether we're just, we just kind of a longer correction here. We still have essentially this little liquidity zone sitting a little bit lower. So corn, to me is still bullish. But, if we go up here, if we pull back here, make, a lower high and then continue down, that could be a little bit more concerning for long positions in corn, but we still are maintaining this area here. We had the really impulsive move out of this area. And then we tried to go back up again here, came back to the highs and failed. And this is where we sit right now. So I'll be watching corn. If this uptrend is going to continue for some bullish signs, some sort of engulfing candle at some point here in this move down, as long as we hold this zone. We're sitting at, around the 61.8 Fibonacci. So again, not that I put a lot of weight in that, but this overall is still bullish, and the seasonality is on our side. Again, we have no COT data to back that up, though. All right. So I'm not doing anything with corn right now. I'm still holding more, leaning more towards a bullish bias on this. Even though we've had some selling here, we still are not, breaking any major, demand or support zones, which is down here. Even though this high failed here, that doesn't really mean anything. It's just a deeper correction potentially, but we'll see. How that ends up going. Crude oil. This is the 1-hour chart. So again, we've just had like tremendous lows being made on crude oil. I mean, we took this low right here, went all the way down to 56.51. So 56.50, a barrel is just, we haven't seen lows like that in so long, to be honest. So, but you can see we've been basically trading inside of a range since last week. About this time last week, just been trading up and down inside this range. I think the buyers are trying to like pick a bottom here and push this thing higher, but you can see just in this current 1-hour candle, they did try to make an attempt and it's come back into the range. So I'm just watching this right now. I hate to start selling at the bottom here, but let's see what happens with crude oil. I think at some point, we're tending to probably get crude oil to come back up. Um, again, we do have seasonality on crude oil working against us right now. Basically, from now through early December, it does tend to trend down. Um, so the seasonality is down. And like I said, we really can't go by any COT because we just don't have any data. So let's see. I'd love to see, this thing bottom out and start getting some trend higher. But until we start taking out some of these, some of these areas here, we have to still assume we're in a downtrend. So, um, but you can see on this last attempted push down here on the hourly chart, this is now basically looks like to be a third failure at this low. We had this low be put in, came back, failed to break, came back, failed to break again. And this is actually an even higher low right here versus down here, clearly. So, is this the bottom? I have no idea. I'm not ready to just say I'm going to pick a bottom. But let's just see what happens with this. If we start to get a break out of this zone, some impulsive action coming out of here, and we start taking out some of these liquidity, these previous support, resistance and supply zones, then, that would perhaps change the story. But right now, I'm kind of, you still have to be bearish on this just based on technically what it's been doing. But there are some potential signs that maybe it's the selling is starting to run out of steam, which would make sense. I mean, at these prices, producers are going to start, either cutting back on production just to try to drive up the prices, or it's, looking more towards seasonal usage that will push prices up, or just technical buying. So, something has to give. So let's see. But we potentially have what could be looking like some sort of triple bottom forming here if this doesn't end up coming down and taking out this low. Maybe it will. Again, the momentum is on the side of the bears. Okay, but let's just see what happens. All right, so on to soy meal. So you can see soy meal has had this nice run up here. And again, from a seasonality standpoint, the whole soy complex is up. Okay, again, we have no COT data. You can see we had this pullback earlier and then price seeming to want to go up again. So again, on the 1 hour chart, which is, one of my favorite charts to analyze and actually trade off of, we do have this kind of area sitting here. Price came down, appears to have held it, so as long as this doesn't roll over and come and break through here, then this would end up being a nice buying area. Have been in a long position on this since maybe the middle of last week. It's been a little chugging along and came down here, but I'm still in it. And so let's just see if we can continue to make new highs here just based on seasonality. Here's the 4 hour chart. We had this big push up, took out all this like swing area. Then we had corrected, move back, and now we've broken out. So I think technically we have bullish price action, and from seasonality we have bullish price action. So with soybeans, you can see I took a long position off of basically this pullback right here. It's not really doing anything right now. In fact, my stop loss is close to being hit. I have a pretty tight stop. I mean, really, it should be sitting down here. But basically, the way I look at this now is if this breaks through where I enter here, then this resumption of what I thought would be the uptrend is probably not valid anyways. But you can see close to being stopped out, but we'll see. But this looks very much like soybean meal, and so ultimately, if I don't move this stop and I get taken out, I'm still basically maintaining a bullish posture on this, and I'll just sit and wait for another resumption of this uptrend. Soybean oil is a little bit more lackluster. Again, we have upward seasonality pressure here on soybean oil. And we are technically making higher lows here, but you can see this is a lot of like overlapping date, price action, even though it is putting in, higher lows here. You can see, just seeing it with the trend line here. It's still kind of lackluster. So I've been a little bit mushy on this one lately because it's just having a hard time really pushing. You can see, overall we've got this range sitting up here. And even though we're riding along this trend line here, putting in higher lows, we're not seeming to make any progress to the upside. Um, so this isn't one that I'm, too keen on right now, unless we, get some real good breakout here to the upside. And again, seasonality wise, we should be looking at higher prices, but this one's, like I said, is a little, of the three of them, this is the least favorable looking one right now. So on to I've kind of slimmed down a little bit on the currencies. The only one I have up here now is Australian dollar and GBP. And hold on one sec for me, guys. Sorry, guys, for that quick interruption there. Okay, so yeah, as far as currencies go, I'm just sticking to um, this is the Australian dollar and the British pound for these currency futures. Again, I really would like to have the COT data for these because I really don't like just trading these on just technicals. But anyways, we'll just take a quick look at them anyway. So here's the Australian dollar. You can see this is the 4-hour chart. We're inside of a big range right here. So to be quite honest, I'm not trading this at all. This is just, ranging up and down here. Again, obviously there are micro trends that go on inside of any range, but I don't trade ranges like bounces off the bottom. I just don't do that. So I'm not interested. I want to trade trends and breakouts and, trending markets and not get involved with this chop. So while we're inside this range, I'll just be watching this and just see what happens. But the last COT update, which was a few weeks ago, was bearish for this product, and we have seen prices come down. Since about mid-September, about a month, we've been trading down. So that has kind of proven out. So I don't know whether we're just in a pause here, whether we're gonna hit some kind of low and then start turning higher. The COT data would really help. But the bottom line, we're in the range here on this 4-hour chart. So it's just not anything I'm really looking at right now. As far as the British pound goes, British pound was more bullish on the last COT update, but again, we don't have that data. And we did look like we were starting to run up here. We broke some liquidity way back here, came all the way up, and now we're trading back down again. So are we going to continue down, or are we going to eventually run into some buying on this? You can see that this 4-hour trend line kind of held. So again, I'm just kind of watching this until we get COT data back, and I can see what the bigger players are doing with this stuff right now. Not exactly too thrilled to trade this. So like I said, right now my concentration is mostly on just the grain index, on all these grains, because of the seasonality factor, that I can at least lean on that a little bit. But when we get COT back, that will really help, I think, provide some clarity. Now, as far as these currencies go, like I said, the British pound, I had more of a bullish stance, even though we've been trading down recently. But so we'll see. If we get some bullish momentum higher here and can get back through this trend line, then that would confirm that we have that uptrend still in place. But right now it is looking pretty bearish. So in that case, I'd be looking maybe to trade trend line bounces as it comes down and retest these trend lines. That comes down, then comes back up again, and then that might be a good area to sell from, because it does tend to hold like these trend lines. So But anyways, so that's where we're at right now, guys. Still flying blind from a COT data. I really can't wait to get that stuff back so we can really try to dive back into that and get back up to speed of where we are at with that. But I don't know when that's going to be. They're pretty much at an impasse with this. I don't see anybody really giving any ground. So we could be looking. I mean, this shutdown could end tomorrow or it could go on for weeks more. I just don't know at this point. So it is what it is, and we just deal with it, and we'll just make the best decision. But like I said, right now my focus is mostly on the grain markets, so I can use some seasonality, and from just technical standpoint, I think they're a little better right now. So, all right. Anyways, guys, I will leave it there. I hope that was helpful. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. And any questions or comments, leave them down below. And we'll catch up soon. And any updates, I certainly will jump back in. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.